Today at Pick Me Up we've got Jade, who has agreed to talk about anxiety. So today we're going to cover the subjects of anxiety and depression, what triggers it, how you're feeling, the steps that you can take to get help, and kindly Jade has agreed to share her story with us.
I'm Jade, I'm 22, from Sydenham, and I'm a nail tech and a mother to a 2-year-old.
Obviously you yourself suffered with anxiety. Do you know when it started?
It started when I was pregnant.
When you was pregnant, so you never had any signs of anxiety before?
I did, but I never really noticed. Like when I was young, I used to feel nervous all the time, but it definitely started properly when I was pregnant.
Okay, so what sort of differences did you notice in your behaviour? You said that you was a bit nervous.
It like amplified. When I was pregnant, I felt nervous all the time, worrying about things that weren't really relevant, and I always felt like something bad was going to happen all the time, like to me or to my baby, and it was just really, really horrible feeling.
How long would you say you were suffering with this before you went? Did you realise you was acting different and go and get help straight away, or? No,
I waited until she was 7 months old to actually go to the doctors and tell them that I thought something was wrong.
So that's nearly 2 years, well 9 months pregnancy, so you're coming up to now nearly 2 years. So that's 2 years that Jade was clearly suffering in silence with these anxiety attacks. Do you want to tell us a little bit how you felt when you was having them, in terms of your body, in terms of, do you want to elaborate how you felt at the time?
When you have like an anxiety attack, basically it just feels like everything is really, really intense and really bad all at once. Like you have all of your worst fears happening all at once. I felt like suffocated, like there's nothing in the world that can make it better until it goes away. Like physically, it does take its toll, because if you're going through a period of anxiety, it's difficult to sleep, and having a small baby and not sleeping, it was very, very difficult trying to look after her as well as look after myself. And it just feels like really intense. You can't think about anything other than what's happening to you.
So whilst you was going through all of this, obviously she's a new mum, so that in itself is quite terrifying. You know, you're learning new things all the time. I think everyone probably feels a slight anxiety anyway. When did you think, right, this is the time I need to get help?
Well, as I said, when she was 7 months, I just remember feeling so terrible. Like it sort of like, because it was like postnatal as well as me having anxiety, it had stopped me from forming a proper bond with my daughter when she was first born. And then obviously seeing her grow and me getting more and more anxious because I was panicking inside rather than actually speaking about it, it just made me feel like I wasn't able to be a proper mother. So I knew I had to go and sort it out, otherwise it would just continue and get worse. So that's when I went to the doctors.
You went to the doctors. Did you go to a family member first? Did you feel you could talk to anyone? Do you feel there's a lot of services for someone going through this that they can contact?
I didn't really speak to anyone at first. Like, I didn't want to, because I felt kind of ashamed of it, really. I felt like, well, people are going to think I'm crazy if I tell them that I feel this way. But then I did speak to one of my best friends, and she told me also that she felt that way, and she didn't even have a child. So she said to me that she had been to the doctors and they didn't think that she was crazy at all. And that kind of encouraged me that, yeah, it was okay, that I should go and speak to a doctor. And my mum took me there. She said that she had noticed a change in my behaviour, and that she thought that it was best that I spoke to somebody else.
What would your advice be to anyone watching this who feels they may be suffering from anxiety, or, you know, what was your advice and take on it?
I'd say don't suffer in silence, because literally, obviously it feels so bad, like it's terrifying, and I think the more that you stay quiet and think that something is going to go wrong if you speak out about it, you're going to make yourself worse, because then that's another worry that you're adding on top of the worries you already have. So they're not going to think that you're crazy, and you will get the help just as long as you ask for it, and I think that you should ask for it.
Do you have any methods of how to deal with it when you have an anxiety attack? Do you have obviously you kind of go straight up and you're panicking, you're feeling suffocated, you're feeling this type of way. Do you have any coping mechanisms that you do that bring you back down?
Yeah, I really do think that positive thinking does produce positive outcomes, and I wasn't like that before. Before, I'd let myself be sucked in to the anxiety and the fears, and I'd let myself spiral out of control. And it's like a disease. It will continue to pick at you as long as you let it. So now I'm much better with dealing with it, because I know as soon as it's going to happen, it's me, it's my mind, I control it. So if I don't let myself be sucked into it, then I won't be.
Is it more like a mind over matter? So it's
Definitely.
kind of taking control of what's happening, taking some space, some time out, and identifying that you're feeling this way, and you have to kind of break it down for yourself. Is that what?
Yeah, definitely. You need to know that you are in control of your mind. And of course you are still going to feel scared, but the more that you know that if you don't let yourself be sucked into this anxiety and you control it, you say, this is not real, this is not what's happening to me, like I'm just overreacting, that this is the anxiety and I'm fine, then you're going to be able to overcome it. If you let yourself like fall into the pattern of being like, oh no, what's wrong with me, like worrying even more about the fact that you're worrying, then you're going to continue to worry, and it's just going to get worse.
So what are you doing now? Have you formed this bond with your daughter that unfortunately you kind of missed out at the beginning? Are you forming that now?
I'm still working on it, but I feel so much better now. Now that I've had the help, I've spoken to the doctors, I've spoken to my friends, like I've started to identify with myself that it is me who can control this and I can make myself feel better. Now it seems that I have it under control and everything is so much better than it used to be, and it was only a year ago that it was terrible. So it's got much better.
So for the people at home, you know, there is light at the end of this tunnel.
Definitely.
You're still kind of at the beginning of your journey. You have taken those first steps, I would say, in identifying that there was an issue and you're sorting it through. So what are you doing with yourself at the moment?
I've just got a new job.
Oh wow, congratulations.
So, thank you. Working in the beauty industry, which is where I wanted to be, and my daughter's in nursery, still have my time with her. Everything is just going really good now that I've got it under control and I don't feel scared anymore. And I think that it should be made aware to everybody else that anxiety is something that is so common. Like, you're not a crazy person. You may feel like you're alone, but you're not. There's so many people out there who suffer with this, and I probably will have anxiety for the rest of my life. But now I'm so much more aware of what is actually happening and the help that I can receive and what to do with it, that I'm not scared anymore about it. I just know that if it happens, I'm prepared.
So we're coming to the end of our interview now. Thank you, Jade, for sharing your story. Before we close it up, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to make people aware of?
I just wanted to make it known also that someone with anxiety is classed as somebody who has a mental illness, and I think that there's like a stigma attached to that, because when you think of somebody who has a mental illness, you think of someone under the stereotype of looking like a crazy person, but we're not crazy, and it is literally, it could be anyone. It could be your sister, your brother, your uncle, your auntie, like it does not matter. There is no like certain look for somebody who has a mental illness, and I think that it's put in like a bracket of all of these people who have some sort of thing that they're suffering with. And I just wanted people to know that I'm just 22, like a 22 normal girl, have a normal life, and I am affected by anxiety, and it could just be anyone. It doesn't have to be a specific kind of person to suffer from something like this.
So basically Jade is touching on the stigma that is attached to have anxiety, and it's kind of like, don't be embarrassed and it can be anyone. You're not walking around like you have no control over yourself, because if you was next to Jade on the bus, I'm sure you wouldn't think she has these anxiety attacks, because she does look pretty normal as what normal is. So, but thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. I hope that it's helped you in some way that we've shared Jade's story on anxiety and depression. She has highlighted the fact that it is so common and not to feel alone, and there is plenty of people you can go and talk to, and the source of her getting from being in such having these really bad attacks to now facing them, and she can live a normal life, she can really appreciate her daughter, she's got a new job, has all stemmed from telling someone and getting help and facing it. She's admitted she's going to live with it probably for the rest of her life, but the fact that she knows how to kind of control it, it's not going to control her life. She will live with it, but she knows how to handle it. Email in to our websites. There's loads of links on our YouTube. We've got Instagram, Twitter, Insta DM. Write in your suggestions, what other stories you would like to see, but also if Jade's story has affected you, write in and let us know your comments, and next week we'll get back to you. And we hope you enjoyed today with Jade, and thank you for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Catch you soon.
Stronger now, and I'm raised above my clouds, so there's no more rainy days. Sunshine move my clouds away. But I'm stronger now, and I'm raised above my clouds, so there's no more rainy days. Sunshine move my clouds away. Stronger now, and I'm raised above my clouds, so there's no more rainy days. Sunshine move my clouds away. But I'm stronger now, and I'm raised above my clouds, so there's no more rainy days. Sunshine move my clouds away. I'm stronger now, and I'm raised above my clouds, so there's no more rainy days. Sunshine move my clouds away. But I'm stronger now.